Hello, everyone. Welcome out to the Cars, Bars, and Guitars podcast, episode number 55. I'm AJ.
And I'm Steve.
Steve, who are we brought to you today by?
Chaos, panic, paranoia, and despair. All in a day's work of a really bad flu. That is sweeping the nations and the hills and the castles all around.
Well, Steve, we've got the antidote for that. Not the anecdote, but the antidote for that. What are we?
I think you have quite the anecdote right now.
Holy fuck, man. I got stories for you.
The life and times of the grocery biz.
Well, Steve, we're going to wash away our sorrows today. What did we bring? What did I
what have you procured for this?
Yes.
The heart. Tequila Corazon de Agave Expresiones. Brought to you by Buffalo Trace, Old Deuce Deuce.
Mm-hmm.
So I was unaware of a Buffalo Trace barrel-aged tequila. That's apparently what this is.
Yes.
And it's got quite a story on here, too. Speaking of anecdotes, whatever have you.
Fucking novel on the back of that
No kidding.
thing. Feel free to hit the Cliff's Notes, or we can just get to it because
I'll do the first few segments here.
Mm-hmm.
Expresiones del Corazon rested in barrels which held whiskey aged for at least 22 years from Buffalo Trace Distillery. Goodness.
Yep.
An incomparable luxury tequila providing distinction and discovery in every sip. Spanish for heart, the word corazon expresses our boundless enthusiasm for creating the world's finest tequilas. For decades, Tequila Corazon de Agave has satisfied the discerning spirit aficionados of tequilas that personify our spirit of distinction and discovery. Not to be confused with the Hard and Firm song, Chris Hardwick's old band, El Corazon, which is simply informing you about the parts of the heart in Spanish, but it is saying super duper sexy like.
Oh, of course. Well, Steve,
Way more fun than yesterday's song, which would have been pi, which is just the numbers of pi.
Right. Cheers, stir. Boink.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I could totally drive 22.
I'm not going to drink any after today because there's about, what would you call that, 5/6 of a bottle left?
Uh-huh. And you said that was weighing in heavily.
$81. So I don't wish to nix that too soon. Steve, what else are we also drinking today?
You have yourself an Oscar Blues 1050,
Mm-hmm.
and I have Monk's Blood, courtesy of 21st Amendment Brewery.
I always read this as 10 fighty, though. Because I think if it's fitty, it should have two Ds. It should have double Ds.
Per hour.
Ready?
1 and a 2 and beer for you.
Nice. That's always fun. My shit looks like straight up chocolate milk in there. Look at that.
Yeah. It doesn't taste far off either.
Mm. I got to be honest with you, though. Doesn't quite mix well with bourbon barreled tequila.
I'm drinking all those on a cough drop. Everything seems fine here. Just burn the shit on my taste buds.
And then in waveform fashion, do 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 wham, do 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 wham. All right, that was poison. Well, Steve, this was really good. They had two other ones. They had the old 22 Buffalo Trace, and then they had they've got more than three of them, but at the ABC store they only had those three, and it was the rye whiskey barrel and then like an Irish whiskey barrel, I think.
Nice.
But
I realized upon departure that I'd forgotten my inexpensive pickup from yesterday, the standard plain Jane Black Velvet, not the usual 8 years, since I picked it up for $15 at the Matthews ABC store.
Gee, that one's nice.
Yeah.
I like that one. I like it because it's really open. Like the Mint Hill store, you get really good customer service at, but the way it's set up, it's not
snug.
It's a little.
Yeah, whereas the Matthews one is of generous proportion, and the gentleman behind the counter beat me to the punch as I was picking up vermouth as well. It's like, oh, you're making stuff for quarantini? Like, damn it!
Sometimes people beat us to the punch. Well, Steve, do you want to do a little bit of beer news?
Beer news! Snap.
Steve, Buffalo area businesses have been offering free rolls of toilet paper with a purchase of an entree or a locally made chocolate. Well, that's the world we live in. Did you and I discuss this? It was I don't understand the toilet paper. Actually, like if you're quarantined at home, if you take a shit and you're out of toilet paper, just jump in the shower.
Bidet yourself. Yeah.
Bidet, yes. Go bidet yourself. And then take your clean asshole and wipe it off with a towel. And then the towel's not dirty because your asshole's clean.
And
Problem
if you're
solved.
really concerned about it, do laundry. That's bad news for people with water bills, perhaps, but I'm on a well, so that's of no concern.
Go outside and scrape your ass on the ground like a dog. You ever tried to do that's really fucking hard to do, by the way.
I've got pine cones out the wazoo, but I'd hopefully not have to use them on said wazoo.
I'd rather watch that than watch the 700 Club. But yeah, that's
You and what silver solution?
Micro and nano breweries are suffering from taproom closures and event cancellations, and that goes to pretty much nationwide. And also, that hurts me as a musician, and that hurts.
Have you had any events cancel on you yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
But I haven't had that many.
Or is anything scheduled close enough to be affected yet?
We got one at the end of March. No word as of yet, but Ohio, I think, is the first state as of today that tonight at 9 o'clock is the last time a restaurant or bar can be open until further notice, which is big time fucking news.
Yeah, a friend of mine in Vermont, she bartends at a resort in Killington, and they have suspended bar operations, and that's her only means of income right now. After she had moved up there initially hoping to open a bed and breakfast, that didn't pan out. After she'd been working with Columbia University in New York City, so that was quite a change.
Oh, I could imagine. But it sounds like it would have been a good change.
Yeah.
If it would have worked
I'm not
out.
really sure quite all the ins and outs of that, but yeah, Stella's had an interesting life.
Yeah. My niece's name's Stella. That's a cool name. It's a Stella name. But people don't realize how, because your music trivia thing, those people can't do that income. The people that brew the beer, they can brew beer, but what's the point of brewing a whole lot of extra beer if you can't open your tap room anyway?
Yeah, you just got to bottle and can more stuff.
Well,
And there's more overhead surrounding that versus, the reason that kegs are so popular is that you just fill this one thing up and then go dispense it at, $5 a pop versus bottles and cans at, $10 a 6-pack or $10 a 4-pack, or hell, that's even creeping up too.
yeah.
Just lots more transport, lots more overhead. It's
not looking good.
terrifying times.
Yes.
All for your latest flavor of the flu. I feel fine. Do you feel fine? Does most everybody else feel fine?
So far.
Especially considering that Friday was my last day at old job.
Yeah, Steve decided to say, you can't fire
Well, it
me,
was
I quit.
a little later than initially planned. My last regular scheduled day is going to be the 26th or the 28th, and then 2 weeks of 4 days, 4 hours. I can give him 4 weeks of that. Nope. After the first week, I realized I'd bitten off more than I could chew, so I gave him one more. Is this really going to mess things up? Because the big crunch going on there was over by Friday morning. I was like, yeah, it's going to be okay. We've got someone starting training Monday. So there you have it, folks. They still hadn't had my replacement extant or trained yet. There have been rumors of somebody new there that had been, but was looking kind of helpless.
Yeah.
But I really figured the, give or take 100,000 pages I was printing in those wee hours of the morning. Is this really affecting that much? Just trying to get the ball rolling. I was like, yeah, I'm done killing myself here.
See you guys later.
How much more can I short their stock when it's now down to 19 cents?
Ouch.
Meanwhile, Carvana's is down from 110 about the time I got hired on to 50 right now.
Oh my goodness, that's not good either. But
No, but
better
it's
than
just
19 cents.
just everything's in a rough shape.
I haven't checked Ahold Delhaize, but it's
20-ish.
Yeesh.
I checked, and I think there was the Dutch one and the American one. Apparently, there's two different stock symbols for it, but it appears that the Dutch one was holding it out $22. Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, still expensive.
Oh, of course.
So if there's that, but right now my only stock advice is buy. for whatever it is, buy, because it's going to get better.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how and why my 401k was in such good shape, because I started that before the '08 recession.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I was contributing got put into the recession then, that with minimal effort and, 6 or 8% taken out of a paycheck for a dozen years, suddenly had almost 50 grand at one point.
Of fake money.
Yeah. Kind of made that real money to mitigate the credit card situation. So good news, that's handled. Bad news, the future's trashed. But I'm starting a new thing with a new gig, so let's see if I can, not go about, picking up a truck I can't afford.
Are you debt free?
For that, that'll be official Monday. Yeah, it's in the works.
Okay.
Yeah, it was something I'm weighing on. It's like nothing else is panning out, so I need to do this, and that still leaves me $7,000 in that IRA plus whatever's in the principal fund that had started after I'd started back. So there's 4 years built on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost up to $10,000. So this is not as dire as I was afraid to, burn some money to avoid having to keep spending, $600 a month in interest and killing myself in the process.
Yeah.
Fucking tired.
Uh-huh. Now was it taxed? Are you going to get it taxed when you get it?
I'm going to have it deferred.
Okay.
So it's like about 14%, have that held.
Mm-hmm.
As much fun as it would be to have the full $35,000 to go do stuff.
That would be nice.
That would make next spring a bit terrifying. It's like, if I don't have that lingering over my head, then I can't spend it. So I've got some sort of thing hammered out to go do stuff and actually have some money about it.
Well, here's the fun part about that. The future might not be trash because there might not be a future in the world. So there's that.
At least I can feel a little better in the meantime. How about that?
Well, you're not even 40 yet, and you're in relatively good health, and you have no children. Like, I imagine you'll probably work until, if you find something you like to do, you'll just keep going until it's like not feasible. So I mean, you'll probably be okay. I mean, my dad still works; he doesn't really need to, but he just can't sit still. And now I've turned into him, mentally and physically.
Oh, we've seen the pictures.
Well, I know.
Don't need to call Mario for that one.
Well, here's a fun story. One of our friends that we used to work with, his roommate had worked at Food Lion. Anyway, they won't let you cash out your 401k for a hardship unless you're in foreclosure. If you're in pre-foreclosure, you can't. But if you're in foreclosure, you can, which is stupid because if you're in foreclosure, it's too late for you to get that money to pay your fucking house payment. So what's the fucking point?
What this was the 401k had earlier being let go temporarily in October 15.
Okay, you didn't roll it.
It got rolled over to an IRA per their suggestion. I remember all this because it was on Back to the Future Day. Mm-hmm. Well, Back to the Future 2 Day, rather. So Mom's birthday, 2015, is the date of the second movie, and also in reality, I was in Myrtle Beach at the time, just killing time before going to eat too many crab legs. Get a call from this. So so this all, still remember this vividly. Like, all right, well, we could transfer this over and like keep doing bleebly and blah blah with it. Yeah, sure, whatever. At one point, it was up $12,000. I was like, as of leap year,
nice.
It was almost up to 50, starting with almost $35,000. So after tax title and fees, like I'm still left with $7,000 to play with in that IRA, plus whatever I've accumulated in that time. So, all right, it cuts everything about in half, but not being able to see it really takes the sting out.
True. What did they? What was their match?
At one point, if you put in 8%, they would match 4%.
Okay.
And then it dwindled to, if you do 6%, they do up to 3%. Okay. And now that is completely snuffed. The new one's going to be either they match you after 5 years up to 3% for your 6%, but I've got it set up to do 8%.
Mm-hmm.
And I've still got a second job, and I've still got a garage full of stuff I'm waiting to sell on eBay.
Nice.
The first round proved ineffective, so I'm hurrying up and waiting.
That's why I listed the S2000 for sale now. I'm like, people might not have any money coming up in the next couple of months. So,
what'd you list it on?
Just Facebook Marketplace.
Okay.
Or not even Facebook. S2000 classifieds.
Okay.
And then...
But S2000 classifieds on Facebook?
Yeah.
Versus standard that, like, oh, you got an old Honda? I give you 10 grand for it, man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They know it. And everybody's like,
know
clean car, totally worth the money. And then people are like, yeah, I've seen it in person. But only one person.
Yeah, so, like I keep saying, props are free, but they don't get the car bought from you.
No, they don't. But somebody said, hey, is the price negotiable? I'm like, not one day after I sell, or not one day after it's been listed there, pal.
Yeah.
And then, hey, will you sell just the hardtop? I'm like, nah. And he went, and it just said, come on. And I went, no. I mean, come on. Okay, fine. You twisted my arm.
Hey.
Here. You can have it for $20,000. Comes with a 2004 Honda S2000.
Yeah, much like I told you back when I picked up the first Volkswagen. It was, a $3,000 Boston CD that happened to come with an 89 GTI, which is real funny to see. Had that car survived its owner beyond me, that's a modern-day classic worth 10 grand. Like, what the fuck?
I
really? I still have dreams that I have that thing. Like, pray for better, because it was a death trap, a very fun death trap.
True. I let my Starion go for $2,800 or $2,600, and now they're going for like $7,000 and $8,000 fucking dollars.
Yeah, like,
and nobody wanted them when I was selling them.
Yeah,
they're good. They're good cars.
And that was only 2011 years. Is that long ago?
Yeah, man, it was 2011. I bought that car in 2002.
That would have been soon after I moved into your house.
Yeah, I got rid of that car 2 months before Emily and I got engaged, and the guy drove up from Charleston and
he had the trailer with him, right? Because he trailered it out.
Oh no, he drove it back home.
Okay.
He rode up with a friend who had a pickup, and then he took the 9 banana boxes of parts I had for the car.
Are your cats box obsessed?
They're cats.
Punk loves banana boxes.
Yep.
And I had one that was used to hold 4 1-gallon jugs of tea, and she really likes that one with all the extra crevices to rub against.
Oh, of course. And if you take your finger and scratch on the outside of the box, they freak out.
Yep.
Kaylin
made her first trip to Ross yesterday. She'd never been to one. After I told her that, it's like they're cheap stuff, and some of it's entertaining.
That and Tuesday mornings.
Yeah, Tuesday morning, I haven't found quite as interesting. It's funny seeing that there's a clearance aisle in a Tuesday morning. The entire store is a clearance aisle.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
It's like putting a hat on a hat.
I've never liked that one as much as Ross Gabe's or TJ Marshall's.
And they're always
Bargain Hunt I've found most entertaining in universities, since that's got the most random stuff at the cheapest prices. I found a pair of Switch Joy-Cons for $43. Otherwise, they're $70.
There you go.
Yeah.
Steve, we got mucho derailed about IRAs. 401k.
Yeah, well, yeah. So all the random cheap stuff. Yeah. Well, she wanted new sneakers. We were eventually going to make it to DSW yesterday. Instead, went to Ross, and she wound up picking up 4 pairs of sneakers and a pair of dress shoes. Probably to whittle that down, but basically something for treadmill.
Right.
Go see what looks and feels better with the tags off. And they've got a 30-day return policy for money back, or beyond that, you get store credit. Yeah, there's still a lot of random stuff. I just bought my 5th pair of the same style shoes at a different Ross the other day. So it's like those Kambu hiking shoes.
Yeah.
So it's been 3 gray pair and now 2 tan pair, with just enough difference to tell them apart.
Gotcha.
Now all one insole, so good so far. The first pair's a bit chewed up.
She's doing the treadmill thing now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
There was an old exercise bike, but that room's way too snug for both of them. Yeah, it's set up with TV and Roku, so yeah, that's in good shape.
The vinyl cabin is heavy on personality, but very light on reliability and functionality.
Yeah. Yeah, it's with spring hitting about the crack of now, it's now playing whack-a-mole with the ants. I almost enjoyed the last of my chocolate-covered cherries the other day, only discovered that was littered in ants.
God damn it.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that was soon.
Well, we haven't yet reached Elysium, so we don't have to eat that for extra protein, since the meat goes to the 1% now. Well, Steve,
Funny because Elysium's the first movie Bruce and I ever saw. I don't remember much, but
yikes. Steve, New Jersey's Carton Brewery, Carton, like Carlton with no L, honors Neil Peart with lime-lighted Canadian lager and it's pronounced Peart. Pear-T. So it's Carlton Brewery pronounced Peart, and it's a lime-infused Canadian lager.
Ooh.
So kudos to them. I've never heard of them. They probably don't distribute, but that'd be a neat one to have. Hey, maybe I'll send them an email. Hey, we're going to review your beer on a podcast. Who are you guys? Don't worry about it. Coors Light pulls ads amid controversy, which proclaims it to be, quote, the official beer of working remotely.
No, dude. I've seen the movie. There ain't no remotely about bootlegging that stuff.
I don't see what the problem with drinking water while you're at home working. I mean, it could.
That's really funny.
I thought you'd like that.
Say what about said water beer, but that's really funny.
A tardigrade? Oh, water beer, not water bear.
Not water bear.
I want a pet tardigrade because you could just keep it and never have to feed it, and you die, and it can go without food for like 1,000 years.
I want a teddy tardigrade.
Aw. Teddy grade sounds like Teddy Graham. A Teddy Graham tardigrade.
Go on.
Toy boat. Steve, beer that was made from 5,000-year-old yeast tastes like...
beer.
Yes, but burnt bread, evidently.
So it tastes like a Guinness.
Probably.
I would have picked up more of the either Irish Red or Irish Stout at Aldi when I was there, but those had vanished. Instead, I got the Wild Range, which is a staple IPA. It's like, I'm surprised you haven't had that, but it's good.
I might have, but I need to check the Untapped. It's... yeah.
Pretty bad about checking that since the website's bad about functioning.
I got the app.
That's what I meant.
Oh, you said never mind.
Yeah, the website app. Yeah, the thing with the stuff that track the beers, like, I don't even bother.
App site.
App site was the first to close among all the universities.
That's true. Well, Georgia has now approved a bill that allows for the home delivery of alcohol.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fuck yes.
What's up, Tbilisi?
That's, you know what? They kind of channel their inner libertarian, because part of me goes, well, what if the person is a raging alcoholic and the stores know them and they refuse sales? Then they can just order it online. But you know what? Hey,
you're free to make your own mistakes.
That
is my takeaway from libertarianism is you're free to make your own mistakes.
True.
So that's what I keep telling you to everybody. Be safe. Have fun. Choose one.
Gary Johnson will liberate East Korea. Steve, this is not in beer news, but this is a PSA from Mr. Holt here. Stop making green beer for St. Patrick's Day. Stop doing it. I'm pretty sure if you went to Ireland on St. Patty's Day, you're not going to be drinking any green beer.
Much like Cinco de Mayo is not such a big deal in Mexico, by the way.
It's Drunk White Girl Day, and it's not fun. I'd rather just drink the beer. I don't want... Green food coloring comes out green sometimes. Because Thomas made a black velvet cake one time, and I was genuinely worried about myself when my shit was purple. Like Grimace purple.
Was it, I presume this was something dyed so heavily it turned black.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a running gag with the, was it the Black Whopper?
Yeah.
In Japanese Burger Kings.
The Halloween Whopper, yes.
That it had been dyed so heavily, so... Mi caca es verde?
Yep. But then it made its way to the U.S. They had the Halloween Whopper here. Of course, Thomas is calling me, but I'm not picking up because that gag is getting a little bit old.
Don't need more angriness from him with everything.
I see him all the time. So.
Like, I got a feeling how that call is going to go right now. What the fuck's with these fucking people, man?
We normally do in sales in a regular week $240,000 total store. I pulled the sales this morning. $400,000. 160 grand up
Goodness.
from normal.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
it's funny that right now is when the certificate refund and rewards thing from Costco has taken effect. So I've currently got $200 in free Costco money. Unfortunately, that was the beginning of all hell breaking loose in resale, wholesale, whatever have you.
Read.
Whatever.
Got you. Do you remember in Robin Hood Men in Tights where he goes, he was headstrong and cocksure? Or is it the other way around? Headstrong, cockstrong. Well,
yeah, it's a beefy chicken.
So should we do... I wrote it down because I'm not sure we've done it because we've been doing this for 2 years now, which is hilarious, by the way. Have we done a St. Patrick's Day history? We haven't.
No.
I kind of think we should do that before we...
You and what driving snakes out of Ireland or the don't tread on me flags?
I specifically asked for the opposite of this. I like that. Or the Jim Carrey mask one. It's just somebody stomped me. I have no idea. Like, without pulling it up on my phone, I have no idea what the origins of that.
Something about St. Patrick having driven the snakes from Ireland. Like, that's apparently the big thing to get rid of all of your nine-legged reptiles.
Interesting, because I've had some good experiences with St. Patrick's. I've never had any like really horrible St. Patty's Day experiences.
No, when I went to New Orleans, 7 years ago now, goodness,
Jesus,
with Sean and Gray, had a blast, and this was a month past Mardi Gras, and before the temperatures got too hot. It just became a very drunken couple of days there.
Yeah.
It had a blast. That was oddly enough right before I got Big Red.
Well,
this is funny. It's like, it's been that long.
You strike me as the type that doesn't have... I don't have many regrets in life. I have probably just 2. But I'll bet you I can guess one of yours is Big Red. Big Red and Bruce. Just stay away from bees.
Yeah, 2013 was a strange year. What can I say?
2014 was my shit years.
2015 was shittier.
For
you. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That was being laid off as boyfriend and as... But to be honest...
Good news, I dropped X amount of pounds and the job and then got rehired later with... Same company and way worse a gig.
I think Bruce might have picked up some of those pounds.
That, you saw.
Hey.
Yeah, she married a chef.
It's not looking good, man. Oh, my goodness. Well, if you're out there, you can go fuck yourself.
Did I tell you what car she got? She
No.
plays the center with the Chevy Trax.
Oh.
Daewoo!
Oh, God, is this thing loaded?
If only. Yeah, I'm not an ASMR fan, but hot damn if this isn't a very satisfying noise. The NES Zapper, y'all. This is the second gen in neon orange because the gray Zapper already looked... Still not like a real gun.
Of course. If you play Guitar Hero with that, the only character is Kurt Cobain.
I thought Hunter S. Thompson.
Choose your poison, whichever one you may. It's actually nice and cool in here. So before we're not doing a St. Patrick's Day thing. Before we get any further in the studio, it's always kind of warm. This is the warmest or coldest room in the house. So Emily has the heat on because she's not a normal human being. And
she should take niacin. That will heat her right up. That's the thing I've been taking for almost a year now to mitigate drugs of whatever sort. And I burn hotter now for it.
Gotcha. Well, there's a ceiling fan in here now with a light that's much more of a light than the other one was. And now it's nice and cool.
And you said this had 2 speeds?
This one, the fan has 3.
Okay.
But the lights are either on or off.
The light's binary.
Yeah, which is fine, because if I want the light on, damn it, I want the fucking light on. I don't need varying degrees of lightness.
Yeah, if you needed an extra light, I've got 3 of those like lights that are yay tall, so like one's here, one's there, one's there.
Oh yeah.
I got a bunch of those in the garage now, so if you needed something to mitigate your lighting situation, we've got plenty.
That's fair. I thought about putting a big fan in the garage, like getting rid of the what's the word for those long skinny lights? I'm drawing
fluorescence.
Just getting rid of the fluorescent lights and getting like either putting more fluorescent lights on the corner and then putting one big fan, like one of the big fans to keep the air. But
a big ass fan.
Yeah, something like that. But Steve and I have kind of casually talked about this. I'm thinking about consolidating the fleet again. Circa a year ago now, I was talking about getting a Scooby wagon in the Outback variety. I like the Forester, but the Outback has like 40 more horsepower, and I kind of like the wagon. I like the Outback better than the Forester. It'd
be really funny if you pick the Forester though, so then you have 2 boxes on wheels.
Exactly. That's why I was thinking like I kind of want to try something different with the wagon, and you still get the good. You know what? The ground clearance on the Outback, it has more ground clearance than the XJ does.
Huh.
Yeah, because when they measure ground clearance, it's to the lowest part of the vehicle, and the XJ's pumpkin sits lower than the Outback's does, which is, for those of you who don't know that, the pumpkin is the differential, which is, you wouldn't think it is, but I've scraped it on something before. Thankfully, it didn't hurt it, but because it's an old Jeep.
Yeah.
But now I've learned after researching, the turboed Outbacks have they're not as highly known for head gasket failures as the NA ones, because I think they used a different head gasket, one that was more heavy duty to handle the pressure of PSI. Because I'm not gonna.
I thought the running gag was everyone's blowing up WRXs because they're putting too much boost through them.
Well, it's the same block. The 2 and the 2.5 are the same block, so the XT Outbacks are still only a 5-speed instead of a 6. It's not as good a transmission as the 6, but if I blow that up, oh no, I can upgrade to the 6-speed. And then Steve and I were thinking about hilarious motor swaps. I got it. Keep the Jeep. 4-liter inline 6 Outback. I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate it. It would be not fast at all, but it'd be funny. But transversely mounted inline 6, like you'd have to have fender flares on it, like 2 feet wide, just to fit it. The first diagonally mounted engine.
I'm surprised that's not been a thing. But I guess the weight distribution is untenable with that.
It's unelevenable, actually. Well, Steve, what do you think? You think I should consolidate, or just, if I get rid of the S2K, just keep the Jeep and hold on to it, and then maybe get the Outback to? I don't know. I don't want 2 cars and then 2 of them be the same kind of thing. No Wranglers though. Levi's
or if you get yourself a Wrangler, just don't put the angry face on it, because those are atrocious.
Fucking horrible. Like, I automatically, if somebody tells me they have a Wrangler, they show me a picture, and I see that, I don't want to talk to them anymore. The Turbo CRV sounds like a good idea, though. That sounds like a good idea. The Cayenne.
I thought you've been watching Smoking Tire videos, apparently.
Oh, yes. The Cayenne GTS sounds like a hilariously good idea, but also not a great idea.
One of Colin's brother's friends has one.
You said it had he had the stick.
He lives in Charleston. Had to go to Chicago to pick it up. So if you need a brain to pick, it would be yet another Adam to talk to about it.
I have too many Adams in my life.
Oh, darn.
Yep, me and Adam, Emily's brother, have same name, and the same mole on our face, or not the same mole. That's weird. You can't share a mole. A mole in the
Whoa, a mole in the same position, perhaps?
I have a mole. Yes,
That is savage.
in the same spot on the same side of the face, which is great and very weird. But my dad and I also had the same 2 moles on our arm, here and here, same places, and I have one on my eyelid. And I don't see it. What are we going to do on Mondays if we can't go to Saucer? I didn't think about that.
Bounce between houses, drinking there.
That's fine.
I think, did you see the Captain Keith email that was, yeah, we're still open, we're open down the tap 1,000 times a day, and for the love of Allah, don't go French kissing strangers. Which previously had been a real threat there.
That's... It's funny because it's true.
It's funny because it's true. I was like, it's like, I was, not in the last 4 years, but prior to, hey, round, get around.
Can you
I got around.
It's the same. Can you Australian kiss strangers?
Rower.
You know what that is.
It's the French kiss, but down under.
Yes. Steve, do you want to do our musical endeavor for the day?
You and what, Montrose?
Well, do you want to... I say... Do you want to do the V first and then the S after?
Okay.
All right. Steve and I are going to do a history, not probably comprehensive because we get sidetracked, but we're going to do a little bit in honor of Sammy Hagar because Sammy Hagar had a song because I can't drive 55. And this is episode 55, so we were going to do that, and then I was like, you know what, let's just do Van Halen also. And Steve was like, okay, twist my arm a little bit. Steve, you do like Van Halen, right?
Oh, yes.
I do too. But
although I'm more a Dave head and you're more a Sammy head. And nobody gives a shit about Gary Sharon. Sorry, dude, from Extreme. The fire's out of that hole.
True. I like the songs better in the Roth era. But Sammy Hagar is the better singer. Bar none, no holds bar, USDA choice, fucking all-day wristband.
Have you seen any iteration of Van Halen live?
Negative.
I did go to a Van Halen show September of 2015, right before all hell broke looser. at Whatchamahoos at Amphitheater.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention that was a first and only date with the young lady I was with.
Wait, that was okay. Never mind. What was the name of the one that went to Old Mecklenburg with us that one time? Before Kalen, obviously, not after.
Autumn with Eric's birthday.
Yeah,
yeah. That was a very strange situation. We know once May of 13, and then when I was in between the same job, things got very interesting October of 15, and then after Halloween, she just vanished.
So strange.
Yeah.
Like,
now she lives in Richmond, and
the communist of Virginia.
You said like the bad thing. Now that she's crossed the line of 40, she's way less attractive. It's like, I'm okay with this going nowhere now. But that was, very strange times, but I have had a lot of them, so there's that.
I have, I keep thanking you, or not thanking, but I keep saying I'm so thankful that you met Kalen, and for Kalen, I'm so thankful that Kalen met you, because you guys are just 2 peas. No, that's stupid.
In a pod.
I don't like that saying.
Cast.
I don't like that saying, because there's more than 2 peas in a pod. Like a peanut. Sometimes you get 3 peanuts in a shell. You guys are 3 peanuts in a shell.
Got to include Punk in there. Yeah, it works.
That's true.
Because Punk doesn't like anybody, but she likes me.
And I got kisses yesterday from Punk. So,
hey,
yay.
You're moving up in the world.
To the east side. We hung out last night because I just can't get enough of my buddy Steve.
Ow.
So Steve Van Halen, rock band from America.
What?
Which is right in the middle of North America. Band formed
the United States of America.
Formed in Pasadena, California, and I did not realize 1972. That was a long time ago. Steve and I were negative. Credited with restoring hard rock to the forefront of the music scene, Van Halen is known for its energetic live shows and for the guitar work of its acclaimed lead guitarist, Eddie Van Halen. And the band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame when I turned 21.
07?
Yes. So, Steve, Pasadena, hard rock, glam metal, and heavy metal. That's pretty accurate, I would say. That's a good one. So from 74 to 85, Van Halen consisted of, can you name all of them?
Eddie and Alex.
Yep.
Michael Anthony, David Lee Roth.
There you go. Upon its release, upon the release of their debut album
In 78.
it reached number 19 on the Billboard charts. And then by the early 80s, Van Halen was one of the most successful rock acts of the time. The album 1984 was a hit with its lead single,
Jump.
Yep, is the band's only U.S. number one single to date. It was internationally number one also.
I always found that album cover way too cute. It's like
The
the baby angels smoking cigarettes.
And and okay, so I had older, like you were at a disadvantage because I was the youngest, and my oldest are all older than
siblings.
you.
Yeah.
So that record and the Poison one with the really long tongue, that was so controversial in the 80s. But now you show
PMRC can suck on this.
Exactly.
Also a NoFX album, but
Nice.
this isn't them.
I would love, like, I think if I had the technology to time travel, I would take I'm trying to figure out one of the heaviest bands I know. I would either take a Cryptopsy album or like an album by Dying Fetus, and I would take it back to the 50s. And I'm like, hey guys, listen to this. They would put you in jail for obscenity. And they in the 80s, we're putting babies smoking cigarettes on an album cover, and that's scandalous.
It's an angel. It's a mythical creature.
I mean, angels are mythical creatures in mythical... Anyway.
Things. Yeah. I'm not superstitious, but this is not the Megadeth show. I ain't superstitious.
Writing's on the wall.
When a black cat crosses my path.
Are you out of booze?
Yes, he is.
I'm pretty much out of booze. What you want next, Esteban? Do you want to do a wild range?
We could totally see how warm the wild range still is.
If you want to do that, or you want to do something else,
Misery Loves Company. Mine says hi.
That might be my next album. No, actually, it's White Noise.
What Anthrax?
Is that it?
The Sound of White Noise?
Yeah.
That is a thing.
Okay, mine's just going to be called White Noise. Or Ruido Blanco in Spanish. I think that would be Ruido Blanco. I think noise is Ruido. R-U-I-D-O. Cheers, Mike Stan. In 1985, Van Halen replaced David Lee Roth with former Montrose lead singer Sammy Hagar. So Montrose didn't do 55. They're Twist Off.
They're Twist Offs.
Is this the first Twist Off beer we've had on podcast? Oh my. Oh. Okay. Nice. That's totally decent. Actually, that's really good. It's got a good it's got a really good aftertaste, like a nice citrusy, like light and hoppy honey.
Which is funny because there is such a thing as grapefruit wild range, but that only exists in the summertime. So when that occurs again, I'm buying all of it.
Did you say wild range?
Wild range. Wild range. Hey, I'm recovering from
Being a zombie for 3 years.
4.
God, you haven't been on third for 4 years, have you?
One of my face-to-face memories was I've been on third shift for a week. Please send help. So it was a little more than it was training all of February of 16, then finally being cut loose on by early March of 16 that I was finally on third shift, and kind of hated it from the get-go. It's been a very rough last 4 years, which is funny because Kaylin and I met a month into all of that. So she really did meet me at a very difficult time.
And she still loves you.
Yes.
So, the artist formerly known as Regulus has now stolen 4 years of your life. Tell me, how do you feel?
Not good. Not good.
Steve, was Montrose the credited artist for I Can't Drive 55, or was it Sammy Hagar?
That was Sammy
solo?
Hagar solo in 84.
Okay.
And then he redid the song as I Can't Drive 65, and it's less good.
That sounds bad. But in 1985, they replaced him with Hagar, and the group released 4 U.S. #1 albums over the course of 11 years with Sammy Hagar. So can you name them? This will be good. I know you can name 2 of them.
FUCK and 5150.
Yep. So 5150 was first in 1986, the best year ever. And then FUCK, the For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge, was 1991. They had an album
Balance.
in between that.
Oh, yeah, 812.
Yep, and
Yeah,
Emily's brother's birth year.
88.
Yep. How did you know that? You just guessed.
Uh-huh.
Right after For Unlawful Carnal
Right.
Carnal Knowledge, they had an album in 1995.
Balance?
Balance.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oddly enough, I had that CD and played a lot when I was in Germany.
Did that have Humans Being on it?
I think so.
I like that.
But that was
Twister.
that
was in Twister.
I don't know if it
soundtrack.
was on the Twister soundtrack.
It was.
Excuse me. It was on that, but I don't know if it was also on that album.
Uh-huh.
My favorite song on that was Big Fat Money.
It's probably been
It's been forever since you've heard it, but like that was my go-to song. Like it's raucous.
nice. Well, in 1990, Sammy Hagar left the band in 1996, shortly before the release of the band's first greatest hits collection, The Best Of Volume 1. And then the former Extreme
Played the
frontman,
hell out of that one too.
yes, Gary Cherone replaced Hagar, remaining with the band from 96 to 99. Van Halen then went on hiatus and then reunited with Sammy Hagar for a world tour in 2003. And then they released the Best of Both Worlds, its second greatest hits collection. So when you do a second greatest hits collection, none of the first
Make the hits greater again.
How do you do that?
Well,
Is it just
some
different songs?
some bands that have been around forever and a day,
Yeah.
you will find the best of and the greatest hits, and then blah blah collection. It gets carried away after a while that somebody deciding somewhere that this is the best of or greatest hits or whatever have you. Like what's been played the most on radio. What's been streamed the most by this point in time? What's been most requested on radio?
Mm-hmm. Bless you. How's that cough drop going into your lung feel?
It is finished, so I'm just trying not to belch or barf on mic.
Is it better than Swedish?
Maybe.
Nah. Permission to go on my soapbox for a second.
Do what you want. It's our show. Do what you want, man.
Anytime I see an album that's been re-released and remastered, I immediately hate the remaster. And let me explain. We explained RMS and loudness a long time ago. So what they do is they turn the entire track up in loudness, not volume. Volume is not loudness. So loudness is just how much dynamic range you have. RMS is root mean square. So a song like Smells Like Teen Spirit or anything by the Pixies, which is where they got that groove from, is you want the choruses to be really big sounding and just in your face. and then you want your verses to be nice and quiet and kind of chill. So you get the quiet, quiet, quiet. You get the build up, hello, that, and the build up, and then bam, a huge chorus. When people remaster a lot of old tracks, they're turning it up in loudness, and then the verses, that quiet part, is the same volume as the chorus, and so you don't get that jolt of energy from that chorus. Does that make any? I'm trying to explain that to like.
There's less a difference between part A, part B of the song.
Yes, the quiet parts are as loud as the loud parts.
That's real funny to use the Pixies as an example because their documentary is named Loud, Quiet, Loud.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Pixies built their brand on.
And Kalen's big into them, and I'm still not there.
I'm with you, but that's how you write it. That's how a song is supposed to be. They're supposed to have dynamic range, because if the entire song has the same energy, there's not any energy in the song. Like, life has its ups and downs. Your song should have its ups and downs. Even, well, you know what? Like, if you ever look at the waveform of Death Magnetic from Metallica and was 08,
yeah,
it's a solid fucking bar of just music
noise.
Yeah, it's just, and you listen, like, that's why listening to things on earbuds and headphones, like, if you listen to something for more than 10 or 15 minutes like that, you start to get a headache, because you get the same volume of music in your ears all at once. There's no dynamic range. There's no push and pull. So you're forcing your ears to listen. You're forcing to hear it instead of listening to something. It's forcing you to hear it instead of you just listening to it. If that's kind of the way I've tried to explain it to people.
It's listening versus hearing. What?
Well, it's like somebody turning this fan on this speed it is now, and then putting an airplane propeller and an engine up there and blowing air at you. Like,
go on.
Like, you're going to get, you're feeling the air now. You're going to be forced into feeling the air if there's an airplane right above us. That's a better analogy.
I really hope this doesn't pick up on Mike having the fan running, because it sure feels good.
It won't.
Okay.
All right, so just be dead quiet and see if anything picks up on that yellow thing that's moving up and down. Ready? Nothing. Bam! I love ceiling fan technology. All right, you can speak again.
Hooray.
I'm off my soapbox, Steve. So, Steve, they toured with Gary Cherone until 2003, and then he remained with the band until 1999. And I have not heard anything from. I don't think they even released it.
There was only Van Halen 3 was with him.
Okay,
that was the one with the album cover of the dude getting hit in the stomach with a cannonball.
That's right.
That's gonna hurt.
That and the vulgar display of power from Pantera. They had to they kept punching the guy in the face to get the right thing too.
Goodness.
So he signed up for it. And he's like, "Yeah, you're going to pay me all day. You can keep punching me in the face." Because I think it was Phil Anselmo's fist, which probably meant he probably fucking punched him for real. So in the following year, the band released The Best of Both Worlds. Hagar left Van Halen again in 2005. In 2006, David Lee Roth returned as the lead vocalist. And then Anthony was fired from the band in 2006 and was replaced on bass guitar by
Wolfgang Van Halen,
which is a fucking
yes
awesome name.
Son of Eddie or Alex?
Eddie, definitely son of Eddie. In 2012, the band released the commercially and critically successful A Different Kind of Truth, and I can't name one song off of that.
Not even Tattoo?
Haven't heard it.
It's good. It's funny that the old lineup's back together, and it sounds like what 3 should have been.
Okay.
Yeah, it didn't suck.
Gotcha. Well, as of March of 2019, Van Halen is the 20th on the RIAA. I think it's the Recording International Artists Association.
Industry.
Okay, Recording Industry
Artists Association.
List of best-selling artists in the United States. They're 20th. That's higher than I thought it was, actually. The band sold 56 million albums in the United States, more than 80 million worldwide.
That's got to be something way more difficult to get on the board nowadays, I'm sure.
Nobody buys albums anymore. We talked about this on pod before.
Uh-huh.
You do, and I do.
No, What, and buy stuff?
I
think between, but it's like between you, other Adam, and Colin, like y'all have first crack at my CD collection.
We need to get other Adam on here. He would be a good guest. But I had no idea that they were 20th all time on the United States. Like that's high. I mean, I knew everybody knows Van Halen. Everybody knows the band Van Halen, but I didn't realize they were 20th. That's really fucking high with 3 singers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know of any other band that's had 3 singers. It's 2.5.
Oh, technically AC/DC, yeah. Since now Axl Rose is singing for him, like I'm really baffled how Ma Fratelli's doing fronting that band now, because that's what Axl Rose looks like.
Back in black and I hit the sack. That mashup dough.
Yep.
As of 2007, Van Halen was one of only 5 rock bands with 2 studio albums that sold more than 10 million copies in the U.S. Additionally, Van Halen has charted 13 number 1 hits in the history of Billboard's mainstream rock chart. Van Halen ranked the band 7th on a list of the top 100 rock artists of all time. That's pretty incredible. But I will say, I still maintain, David Lee Roth is the better showman. He was the better... If you wanted to see them live in their prime, you don't want to see that shit live now.
It was really strange seeing them with, like, he was an inch tall from where I was, but he changed clothes again. Like, how'd you do that?
Tear away pants like NBA.
I guess. And wearing a lot of them. Rest in peace season.
Sammy Hagar. Samuel Roy Hagar, born October 13, 1947, also known as the Red Rocker. Better than Red Rocket. You've seen that episode, haven't you?
Yeah. South Park much? Yeah.
American rock vocalist.
That's why I was like, I keep getting Sammy Hagar, Dee Snider, and Sarah Jessica Parker confused for the same person.
Oh, my God.
You can't unsee that.
D. Jessica Hagar.
Go on.
All right, that's the episode title. I can't decide if I want to rock out or fuck it.
Yes. Yeah, big guy.
Yeah, big guy. Well, we said that a lot today. He also told... All right, so bitch is chuchka. So I was like, yeah, big guy chuchkas. I said, fuck it, bitches. He loves it when I talk like that.
All right, whatever imaginary car you get next needs a license plate Yebiga.
Nope, I'm getting a Yugo and putting Yebiga on it. The official car of the CBGPod. I'd lift it, or a Lada Niva.
I would enjoy that more.
That would be fucking boss, man.
Let's say it basically looks like an off-road Yugo. This little box on wheels.
Extremely.
But so did my 89 GTI, so whatever.
So, like we said, Mr. Sammy Hagar was in Van Halen from 85 to 1996 when Independence Day came out. In 85, after parting ways with vocalist David Lee Roth, the remaining members of the band, Van Halen contacted many potential replacements. In July, given Eddie Van Halen's appreciation of Montrose and at his car mechanic's suggestion. This is hilarious.
What?
Yes. Man, how things get tied together in the whole world.
TF.
The band auditioned him.
I've found somebody else that also cannot drive 55.
Oh, my goodness. That's fantastic.
That said, I found if my car's exceeding 80, the gas mileage suffers. Whoops.
The Jeep does, too, because it has the aerodynamics of
a
brick. Cinder block. But the band auditioned Sammy Hagar and quickly hired him to fill in the opening. With Hagar at the front, Van Halen produced their 4 number 1 albums, like we talked about. And they were colloquially named Van Hagar as a way to distinguish the band from the previous David Lee Roth era. And I don't actually think
you and what, Joe Dirt?
I don't think they have any beef either. I think Sammy and David actually get along.
I think that was one of those things that took time, but it's better. Like, henceforth, they had the best of both worlds. That was like the both of them singing on that live series of albums.
Yeah. But now, Eddie and Hagar don't get along, evidently, according to this article. So Hagar wanted to record a new studio album after Eddie, Alex, and Hagar's pregnant wife had all dealt with their, medical their things because they were getting older. Hagar stated the final straw came when he was with his wife in Hawaii. They had arranged for a natural delivery of their baby, and Eddie wanted him back in the studio. And then all hell broke loose, and one said they quit. The other one said they told him they didn't want him anymore. And, well, that's every other band in the history except Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers because they were the longest tenured original member band in American rock and roll history. What is your favorite Van Halen song? Radio silence.
Do I have to answer right now? Or should I say right now? Oddly enough, a Hagar song, because that song is fucking amazing.
What's even more amazing?
It's a Hagar when I'm a DLR head.
No. What's more amazing than the song is...
The video.
We talked about
Science
this.
is building a better tomato. Like, yep, that's a breast implant, y'all.
We talked about this a couple of episodes ago.
You can't see as I'm gesturing.
We talked about this a couple episodes ago, and then when we did, and after the drunkenness at the Mexican restaurant,
oh fuck!
I watched the video to that while in bed, and Emily's and
it's like too many words, man.
Laughing my fuck. And then right now, somebody has the wrong idea, and it was the sign that says, "I will wrestle you for food." A homeless guy.
That sounds strangely accurate now, 29 years later.
True. I don't know if I have a favorite Van Halen song. Like, I like a lot of them. The video for Hot for Teacher is so fucking good.
That is easily up there, too. That the intro of it, like... I don't know what's happening, but the song sounds incredible.
That's hard to replicate. There's a reason nobody covers that song because the drum parts are almost impossible to play. Right Now's a good one. Humans Being is a good one. I mean, Jump, Running with the Devil. Like, you know how they recorded the in the first of the in '78 was Van Halen 2. They Eddie was the only guitar player. They were a three-piece band with a singer.
Let's use Lamborghini as our guitar track.
That's fair. Well, what they did was he played. If you listen to it in headphones, like the opening to "Running with the Devil," I think it's in the left ear. If you take the right ear off, you hear the guitar, and if you take the left ear and listen to the right, you're hearing the reverb from that guitar. So they only did one guitar track, but they panned the reverb to one side and then the raw guitar track to the left. So when you put it together, it gives you that big stereo image. Whereas now, it'd
be more condensed.
Well, most of the time you play two different guitar tracks instead of doing that. Because I don't put, like on my original stuff, I don't put any reverb on the rhythm tracks because you want the guitars to be heard. Reverb kind of adds ambience to the sound. And with the guitars, especially like heavy guitars that I'm playing with, which are have much more gain than Eddie had on his, you want it to be more up front. Like mine's more of a guitar-driven song, and it's hard to explain. It's really even them Bones from Alice in Chains. You get that big guitar sound. There's no reverb on those guitars when you record. There's just none. But if you listen to like Sonic Youth or any shoegaze, it's very heavy, and that's spacey, like that sort of thing. Let's see, favorite Van Halen. If I had to listen to a Van Halen song right now, God damn it, I didn't mean to do that.
You fell in my same trap.
I did. I don't know. That's hard to beat. That might.
Hot for Teacher's up there, man.
I know, but I'm inclined to agree with you. But I know we host the same show, but can we agree on that?
As you wish.
I just like the whole thing. The whole song's great. The intro, the piano. It's such a good song. What year did Right Now come out?
91.
Damn, 91
that was on Fuck.
Year. Oh, that's right. That was on Fuck.
For unlawful carnal knowledge.
For unlawful carnal knowledge. Wait,
what's up, Sean?
Sean has that. We don't. Wild Range is good. Steve, I immediately thought that was a guy with wings, but it's two wolves. And does he have something coming out of his dick? Steve has to take a closer look at this. Like,
tight pants.
I know, but it looks like there's a fucking mosquito biting him on the dick. That's exactly what that looks like. Fair?
Yeah.
Fair or foul? We've already been through the topics that I wanted to go through. So we can do, I say we do a car-related topic.
All right.
Well,
You need a beer, don't you?
You do.
I do. Screw it. I brought these. I'm drinking another one.
Another, Steve.
Another warm wild range.
It wasn't that one. It was still good to be a warm one.
Yeah, that's how you know it's good beer.
You've always said that, but did you get that from somewhere?
It's just from Aldi.
No, not that. But if you can drink a beer warm, then it's a good beer. Did you get that from somewhere? So Steve and
I don't remember where I heard that, but it's totally accurate.
It is.
And this totally falls into that category.
I don't want to drink a hot beer, but I will drink
at least
a warm beer.
But also today being 60 out didn't hurt.
True. Are you in any danger of new job cutting back hours, or is that sort of okay? No.
They're probably a month away from doing another hiring session, actually, since they want to have this facility have 2 lines open.
Oh.
Right now, the first line is still everybody learning, everybody getting on board, getting the hang of how things operate. I spent half of last week detailing stuff. So it became lots of wiping down wheels and putting tags on cars, so everything has tags at least on the back, and if it has a bracket on the front, frame and plastic dealer tags saying Carvana here and there.
Yeah.
Super easy bullshit. Like, this isn't what I signed up for, but it gets me off third. It gets me off finicky equipment. It's like, you can always find some sort of screw to mount plate to thing, or I'm just going to bring a roll of duct tape and call it a day. Whatever.
You got lucky because you're not in a field you particularly thought you would be in. But
I had applied to an IT position in January and was almost immediately shot down with it. So I had my eye on that since the facility was announced back in August.
Right. But
and I think it was through Facebook Solve, hey, we've got blee blee and blah blah with these job fairs going on in Concord to do the thing. Cool. I should go. Mm-hmm. I got hired on the spot.
Yep.
What a happy ball of nerves I was, like, telling myself, like, I just got hired as a photographer for Carvana, driving back. Like, my heart could have burst, but that would hurt, so it didn't. But
I quite literally, no joke, did not tell you this, but when you told me that, I teared up. I teared up when you told me that.
Dude, tissue's worth a lot of money now. Be careful.
I
thought about sleeves instead.
I thought about flexing on everybody tomorrow and going in wearing an outfit completely made of toilet paper. Check it out, bitches. Who's living the sweet life now? I teared up when because
you charming man.
Yes, you found a job like so.
I found a job I do recreationally. I haven't been to Cars and Coffee in forever, but
yeah,
shooting cars for fun and profit do go on.
Yeah, and once they find out, like it's your foot in the door because you could do this job for a year, and then they go, oh, by the way, this guy's really good with computers.
I've had way too much fun nitpicking the cars too. Like a Hyundai the other day. Whoever put new tires on this didn't line up the hubcaps, much like Emily's car.
Oh, I hate that.
The
valve stem
lug mounted. Yeah, it's like I don't see the valve stem on this. There were a dozen people coming to look at this to realize, well, that's wrong. So eventually, go take over to the tire department and get it fixed. It's like, well, you can't air this dumb thing up in this state of condition. So they had this little Hyundai Accent over there. It was real funny. Like, I'm just putting valve stems on wheels, and like, well, you can on this, and here's why.
Yep.
So it was real funny to see that escalate.
So you're saying I need to go to the next job fair, and we need to be coworkers?
Yes, too. That'd be quite a pay cut for you.
I know.
Yeah,
but it'd be
like,
Monday
at
through
least,
Friday, theoretically.
Yes. If things get behind, they would open weekends, but for the most part, it is 6 to 3 with an hour's lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not crazy about the starting time there, but it gets me out third. And
6 is better than 11.
That it was 10 to 6, but yeah, that.
I mean, you
That
went
kind
in
of
at 11.
That kind of became like, I'm getting in super late. It's like, fuck it. It became just, yeah, I'm going to miss the getting away with showing up the crack of whenever.
True. You have to be on time now.
Yeah. That's why I've picked up more watches to make sure I'm up in time. Which is funny because the running gag at the house is like, hey, let's go have dinner. It's like, all right, we're going to crash on the couch. All right, it's 4:30 in the morning. She's still out. I guess I better get ready for work. Yeah, last day of old gig was Friday.
Mm-hmm.
After not immediately getting a clear answer if I could go ahead and just bounce a little more quickly. It's like, yeah, maybe I could give you another month of this after the first week. No, that hurt. Gosh. That just hurt. Like, that doing 1 to 5 and then getting the new gig 6 to 3. Like, the first couple of days of training was like, by the end of it, was like, I need to start licking 9 volts to stay awake. This sucks.
That wouldn't be a bad title either.
Licking 9 volts to stay awake.
Don't think I didn't think about career change, but I think now, especially in what we're going through, I think I need to stay put because I'm getting another raise at work, and I'll be topped out. Like, there will be no more raises after this unless they raise the pay scale. But I still get 6 weeks of vacation, and that talks to me a little bit.
Yeah, for its worth, where I am or where I had been, it caps out 4 weeks vacation until you're at 25 years.
That's not even a real number.
Ain't nobody sticking around that long. Because earlier that had been different, or they finally reinstated rollover, so you could carry over maybe a week. No, that's not happening. Like, after my first year at Carvana, I get 4 weeks. For my first year, I get 13 days. That's 2.5 weeks.
Oh yeah,
and there's carryover. So if I could not carry over first year, I think it's going to be okay.
Yeah, we don't carry over at all, but we do have a generous vacation package, which means you can go to the mountains this year with us.
Let's hope.
There's no hope.
So I was trying to hammer out wedding stuff now that's way more plausible, barring travel concerns and where the fuck's going on now.
Why don't you get married in the mountains that weekend?
She's more a beach girl, but...
If only there were a place that had mountains and beach.
California.
Yep, I'm in. I'm totally in.
Texas.
No. Austin. Yes. But no mountains or beach. But it's the best part of Texas.
It does have both. Yeah, it's
the blue dot and the... Yeah. I would love to go to...
Un estado rojo.
Emily and I thought we would be in jeopardy of our Toronto trip because Toronto is the 4th biggest city in North America. So...
Following New York, LA, and Chicago?
It's bigger than Chicago.
Mexico
City, yeah. So I think Mexico City's number 2.
And that's 22 mil.
Guys, a lot of fucking people.
And it's a city at an elevation of 7,000 feet.
Yep.
beyond Denver.
It is. I've heard that it can be a nice place to visit, but I've heard also that you don't want to go anywhere that they don't like the Mazungas, the white people. So, although that's not a Latin term, that's an African term, but white people are called Mazungas in some of the African tribes.
You said gringo, awful funny.
That's true, too. But my travel bug that I've been bitten by has been a lot less now that they're
you can or shouldn't.
Well, I'm not.
But it's funny because now flights, like I keep getting Frontier emails, like, yeah, blah blah for 90% off. I don't need to be anywhere that far away that cheaply right now.
I would, but with Emily's situation, she's not immunocompromised, but she has issues with her body. So I don't want to be infected with it and then bring it to her and then be responsible for something really bad happening to her. So so that's called not being able to live with the guilt. So until it blows over, although you know what you could do?
Go to the Winchester.
Yes. You could book your trip now and then go. You've already paid for it. Once you've paid for it, it can't increase in price. They can change the time that your flight takes off, but it can't increase in price. So that's the key. Although I did see a meme that said, as a millennial...
Good news, gas is cheap.
Well, as a millennial, which I don't identify as millennial.
Yeah, but your time frame...
Shut up.
Perfect.
Shut up. I personally identify more with Generation X, with you. Don't you think you and I are more similar than I am with somebody born in 1995?
Why, yes.
Oh, of course. So I'm going gender non-binary scope on this, and I'm saying I don't identify as a millennial. I identify as a Gen Xer. So, as a Gen Xer, I forgot what I was talking about.
You're a super late Gen Xer. This sounds more soapboxy than your Van Halen bit, but go on.
I forgot what I was talking about.
You didn't drink enough.
Oh, the flight. We were flights. What were we doing? It was flights. And then flying here.
Something about cheap flights and the threat of Emily.
God damn it, man. Don't ever get old, man. It's a trap. See, I am a Gen Xer. I'm old and my memory's failing. But I would definitely rather physically fail in my old age than mentally. Because I still want to be all there in my mind. I don't... I forgot what... Yeah.
And the whole gag of that is live a little. Yeah, make experiences to tell blee and blah blah.
Yep, and that brings me to we really did mushrooms a couple weeks ago. We did them for real. Steve didn't.
No, not. That would have been late November for my brother's bachelor party, and the only takeaway from that was my dreams echoed.
Yep, and I still have plenty left over downstairs. I digress. We did them on Mac for Mac's birthday. Mac was one of our lovely guests, and he, for his birthday, wanted to be happy, and I was like, well...
Did you make it a thing Friday? Because there was fucking no way I was going anywhere that day. Like, well, this is now the conclusion of a very difficult week. So instead I stayed up way too late and drank a lot of wine.
I didn't go, not for fear of catching anything, but I was tired as fuck from being bombarded with people. So Matt came over for his birthday, and Thomas came much later, and then Mr. Preston came and trip sat us. He was our trip sitter. And so Matt came over, and we had a beer, and then we let it do its thing. And a normal beginner dose of just feeling mellow is about 1.25 to 1.5 milligrams, and we did 3 milligrams each. So that was the dose of you want to be in that zone. And about 30 minutes...
It's a shame you didn't like Meister Bag, because this is the quintessential reason that the intro to Negasonic Teenage Warhead exists.
Nice. But you don't like Monster Magnet either, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Yeah, you're on your own.
gotcha.
You gotta take it up with me and Ben from Houston.
Gotcha. Well, about 30 minutes in, I had a glass of water in front of me, and I went to drink my glass of water, and I saw 12 of my hands, and then 12 glasses of water, and I drank and sat it back down, and I looked at Mac, and I went, "Hey, Mac, drink some of your water." He goes, "I feel good, man." I'm like, that's not an answer to that. I don't know. Just drink your water. He goes, "Okay." And he drank his water. He's like, "That's a lot of hands." I was like, Ooh, something's happening. And Mr. Preston was like, "You guys must be feeling okay." So here was what it did.
This is going to make a very fun time tomorrow that, hey, I don't got to do stuff, so I can finally return a little sooner than I hoped.
Yes. So
Neat.
after that, I felt, when people say there's a weight off your shoulders, it's the figure of speech. It literally felt like I just melted. Like it was just so calming, and so it was unlike anything I've ever experienced.
The weight of my back I'm experiencing is about 1,000 pounds of paper, and if you roll the stupid thing out, it's 7 miles.
It would be like if somebody cut your shoulders off. That's what it felt. It felt like they cut your shoulders off, and you were just you. There was no weight on you, no burden, and
yeah,
Sean was playing jazz, like some kind of easy listening, and a jazz song came on, and I tilted my head back and stared at the light, and the light turned into a kaleidoscope. And then I closed my eyes, and
you're looking at my windshield. How dare you?
Yes, I was in a jazz club in New Orleans, like walking around with my eyes. I had my eyes closed, staring at this light, and I was in a jazz club in New Orleans, like in the Roaring '20s, listening to jazz music, watching dancing, and then something would jolt me, and somebody would say something, and I would like open my eyes, and I'd be back on the porch with Sean and Mac, and it was so relaxing. It was so relaxing. I will absolutely do that again. And it's, by the way, here's a top tip for CBGPod listeners: it's not detectable on pee tests. So if y'all want to get nice, you can do that guilt-free and not have to worry about your job, unlike the weedness, allegedly. So, Steve, do you have random drug tests at work, or is it
just once again, don't crash anything.
Okay, so same way at ours.
Yeah,
don't cut yourself with a knife.
Don't mess up.
Don't cut yourself with a knife, and we don't have to send you to the hospital where we have to.
The running gag has been with some younger guys in my department. They know a guy that crashed a car, and he had to get drug tested.
I mean, I've crashed too, but they've been my car. So.
Yeah. To crash merchandise that is dropping in value $50 a day, and there's a lot of them and a lot of us. Yeah, don't mess this up.
Not a great idea.
Oh.
So
never mind. Like the worst car I've seen in the fleet.
Sorry, Karin.
Is a white Focus.
But what year is hers and what year is that one? Roughly the same?
I think this might have been a little bit newer, but this might very well be one of the recalled transmissions that this thing just didn't want to go. Like, you press the gas, like, it's got to hesitate. Like, that was something I was used to in a diesel Mercedes that, James May said it perfectly. You press the gas. Are you sure? All right, let's go.
Was that a Merc? Was that a Merc that he did?
It was a Merc, yeah. It was because back in my tire shop days, I was aware of this with a diesel Mercedes that it's in no hurry
to
go
anywhere.
Yeah. This is how your car's efficient. It's not going to fucking move.
Back to the, I like Wagon, and I like the Fiesta STs. I like things like that, but I need the ground clearance because I have shows and gigs in places I'm not familiar with, and it's nice to know I can go anywhere and do anything without scraping the nose or the differential or anything on the underside of the car, and be good. So the Jeep's good for that, but Outback's,
What you need is a Pontiac vibe that you don't give a
Lift.
fuck about.
well, it's also much lower than the Jeep is. Ironically, it's very similar in size. One's just more round than the other. Yours was in the microwave a little too long. By the way, I didn't tell you about this. So, do you watch much Last Week Tonight with John Oliver?
The other day, I fell in that rabbit hole on FaceTube, but
It's
no.
great. It's good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's how I discovered his Vietnamese hand washing song.
Isn't that awesome? He had an episode. I already forgot what I was talking about. It's been a long fucking day. Oh my God, Steve.
Yes,
Save me. What were we talking about
John Oliver,
before that? Because I said
cars and grand clearance.
Oh my God. Did somebody slip me something in my coffee or something?
That it. Poured out his mushrooms.
I didn't put any in my coffee. I put some in my coffee yesterday morning. It actually made my day a little bit nicer. That's called microdosing for the kids at home. I've genuinely forgot what we were talking about.
It's real funny that you're really getting the hang of mushrooms as recreations, considering how much you hate them on a pizza.
The texture of those is different. The texture is slimy and weird, whereas we ground the mushrooms up in a coffee grinder, to which Thomas replied to Jennifer, "You might want to wash this before you make your next cup of coffee, because your day will make a little more sense if you do."
Dude, she's making socks. I think that would help.
At Defeat is the name of the company, which is an awesome name for a sock company.
She's sent me some very entertaining things lately, and that's okay.
I am definitely a sock. I like entertaining socks. I got a free bourbon socks with my Elijah Craig.
Well, sure as hell not my current Gildans that are boring.
This would make a really good margarita if you wanted to make a really expensive margarita. But they don't put this on clearance because it's not exactly
Clearanceable.
well.
Or it's anybody that knows what this is.
When the bottle is signed by hand and the barrel number, bottle number, and the date it was bottled on. By the way, this was bottled January the 25th of 2018. So not only is it old, it's
How much dust was on this bottle when you got it?
nothing. It was brand new. Like I'm at the ABC store once a week, and they did not have that. And this is really fucking good.
It's funny because yesterday, after Kay's tires were done, she got the food at Benton, and I went to the ABC store because we discovered, hey, Benton's right across from the ABC store.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that. She did that. I ordered some weird thing that was incredible. It's ostensibly a salad, but it might have been served with rice crackers that are not rice cakes. Some sort of 3-inch disc of sweet awesomeness. Like, I don't know what this is, but I want more of them.
Isn't Emily a rice cracker?
Yes.
Awesome. Now I have a new nickname for her. She'll be so thrilled. No, wait, the opposite of that. Well,
I think she stays bemused by the everything, but we find it entertaining, so
we'll keep going.
we keep making shit up.
Yes, exactly. So, Steve, you're in my position. You're selling your S2K.
Excuse me?
Yes.
No, I never bought the one that with the busted roof for $10,000.
No.
What?
No.
Oh, if I was in your shoes.
You're in my shoes.
When did you wear 11 wides?
I wore a 12 thins. Whatever.
Eh.
So do you keep the Jeep, or do you just consolidate and get one vehicle?
Keep the Jeep. It's paid for. It's cheap to fix.
True.
And if you need to, like, randomly park it somewhere, like, I don't know, check with your neighbors. Anybody got spare driveway, garage space?
I could just park it underneath that tree that's across. So if you're standing on my porch, facing the townhomes, right at 10 o'clock, where that tree is on the street, I could just park it there.
You've got to generate a lot of street. If you just need to park it somewhere, no one's going to care.
Well, as I said, list it for $2,500 and see if somebody wants it. $3,000, you think? I don't
Step
think
it up.
They're going up in price.
They're going to step you down anyway, so
True.
Start higher.
Mm-hmm. List, Jeep, lots of new parts. And I mean lots of new parts. It's listed for $3,000. I don't need to sell it.
And you're now at $350K. So
yep.
Can you drive stick? Can you not drive stick? Who knows? Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
No, if you have the magical car that is, fast and able to hold all the guitars and boxes,
go nuts.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if I keep the Jeep, I can see how the economy and get a toy.
This is costing you fuck nothing to keep.
I know. But then I have just the other headache of having to get inspected, having to have insurance on it, and all that stuff. But
you don't have a permanent check engine light on that one, though, do you?
No.
I do. So
I've got the hood. It's still there.
Yeah. Thanks to Mr. Martin or Arj Barker, like one of those guys that says, like, "Yep, Carman is easy. Check engine. Yep, still has engine."
Well,
yeah,
that's the only reason I would. It was just not wanting to.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you're not going to find another one like that, but it's been really good to you.
Yeah.
And to have a reliable DD as you have some what the hell ever toy, be it a Turbo Subaru, a Viper, a Vet, a Lotus.
Well,
you're free. It's like, have some fun with it. This isn't costing you much. I think keeping it is a really good idea, especially with the sheer uncertainty offered by the everything today.
True. The reason for keeping the Jeep would be I could get a toy and just keep the Jeep as the DD until I needed to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the Outback would negate needing the Jeep because I would have all that plus toy.
But then
I wouldn't need a toy.
Tempted to tweak toy.
If I got the Outback, the only thing I would do, I would put Michelin tires on it, a different set of wheels because all the stock wheels on the Subarus look like garbage. I would do a nice exhaust, and then I would do breather mods and intake header exhaust. Probably wouldn't even turn the boost up, and then put those grill lights in the front. Hollow out the grill, put the grill lights.
I always find that to be the best look of like an 05 Mustang.
So cool. That's about it. I wouldn't even think I'd turn the boost. I'll probably tune it. Probably get a nice tune and a blow off valve to save the turbo. That's about it. I don't think I wouldn't want to like build an Outback XT. Like there's so many better platforms to build. Like especially how much that thing costs. I mean, it's not that much, but when you start building turbo, engines.
Too bad the dude I know with a Turbo Forester is back in Hickory.
Yeah,
one of the valets.
Gotcha.
But he's got it's a 400 horsepower monster. It's Jesus. An 05.
There's one in.
He's appropriately nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the Jeep's parts are going to be significantly cheaper than the Subarus, and it's easier to work on.
It's not like you're tuning an Audi.
That's true too.
Yeah, so it's like there's that, then that, then.
Well, the Subaru has 2 head gaskets. It has 2 of everything because it's a boxer engine. So if you don't know how a boxer engine works, guys, there's there's
2
of
cylinders
every
here,
fucking
2
thing.
cylinders there,
Mm-hmm.
2 alternators, 2 water pumps. Oh man, 2 radiators.
Wait. Not
So
2 of everything.
Not 2 of everything.
Well,
so
there's 2 cylinder
you
heads.
got to be more specifical
2 cylinder
about
heads.
this.
2 head gaskets, because there's 2 cylinders here, 2 cylinders there, because they fire like that, like a boxer. That's why it's
That's
called a
why
boxer.
it's named that.
There's too many good options. So if I could just take the Outback XT and just have a 3.5 liter V6 with a 6-speed manual from a Honda, that would be perfect. I'll get my VTAC, yo.
Holla.
That'd be cool as fuck.
Yeah.
It'd be the only one probably too. I would. That's well, I don't know, man. The diesel Toyota, the Cruiser I showed you yesterday, the right-hand drive one, that would be boss too. There's so many good options. The moral of the story is we just need a warehouse where Steve and I can just collect weird shit that we like. And then we don't have to like narrow it down to like 1 or 2 cars. You need a car for every day of the week.
I would have an Ellis Force Swap DeLorean, and anybody asking me about it would be shot on sight. Because one of the big tenets of DeLorean ownership is that the public is annoying.
Mm-hmm. Well, what if we did a lifted CTSV?
Go on.
Or
It's my baby Escalade.
I do like my wagons. But it's got to be a manual wagon.
I said early on, sedan are dumb.
Kind of. But if they made the SRT8 Cherokee with a stick, I would probably just get that. That'd be hard to beat with the V8 and just intake header exhaust and 6-speed manual.
That's how you know the X6, X4, where the hell that atrocity from Mercedes is stupid. Jeep's not built something that looks like that.
Mm-mm. The SRT8s look mean too, but wrong transmission.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could get an Audi all-road. Ugh.
Are you aware of how terrible the 2.7 is in those?
Yeah,
The
I know.
running gag is they'll give you a AAA membership with that car.
I just wanted to see your reaction. Did you see the episode where DeMuro ran over one with his Land Rover Defender? Which is hilarious anyway, because the Land Rover's not synonymous with quality. Or anything
but
made in
Britain, British parts. No.
Nothing.
No.
Fucking nothing.
But Defender Forever looks cool.
What if I
An
just-
Audi Allroad is a German Outback. It's not special.
And there's no
It's-
Outback in Germany. Germany's very...
They will never release something called the Audi Hinterland, but that's what that should have been.
Yikes. That's very close.
There's your episode title, the Audi Hinterland.
That's very, very, very close. If you drive an Audi, though, you're just one ring shy of the Olympics, though. You'd always want more. I like the A5, the S5.
I think they all look a bit special.
I like the S5 though. That's a handsome car, and you get it with stick. I did that with my left hand, like I was right hand drive.
Good.
Can't anymore.
I think
DED.
Audi's been dead for a while.
Yikes. Well, Steve, I kind of want some Mexican food. You?
Si, senor.
Well, by the way, we discussed this yesterday. The reason we had all the popping was because the software wasn't updated, or there were popping on the last episode. And normally your computer powers that be tell you, hey, you need a software update. Well, for some reason, this software didn't ever tell me that, so I had really outdated software. So now we have updated software and 0 pops, 0 problems with this.
It's funny because
episode.
half the time, like, you need a software update. No, you don't.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
update's garbage.
And now
No pop, pop, fizz, fizz.
No
A
pop.
word of relief this isn't.
Do you need any of that?
I'm doing okay.
All right, cool. Well, Steve's down to one job again, and
It's a job and a half.
and I have a job, which is becoming a job and a half in the new crisis. So maybe 56 will do on location, but I know better than to call it that. Well, you're down to one job now, ish, so we can tinker with laptop and see if it works. So
Yeah, that's it, guys. All of our hedges are being bedded on a 9-year-old laptop.
how old is this computer?
12.
There you go.
It's not sucking in pollen though, so that's nice.
That is, now it's just being blown pollen in.
Close the windows.
No, you won't tell me what to do.
Close the windows. Put on Linux. What do you mean? That's not how this works.
Interesting. Steve, I'm ready for tacos, and I'm ready for a margarita without my tequila. But by the way, best tequila you ever had? Best tequila I've ever had. And I want to hold on to it forever and ever. It makes a nice ring with my ring. All right, well, I'm not Steve.
Au revoir.
What?
Toodles.
Later.